Women who fought and sacrificed so much for equality and liberty and justice for all, including the Black women who are often, too often, overlooked, but so often prove they are the backbone of our democracy. Backbone of our democracy. Backbone of our democracy.
Hi YouTube, welcome to the Anti-Racism Academy. If you're new here, my name is Brandy Blocker Anderson. I'm a triple Ivy League educated lawyer, former teacher, activist, and the mother of an adorable 3-year-old named William. For educational videos on race, history, and current events, please subscribe to this channel and power to the people, fist bump that notification bell for updates on when we post. In honor of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden's victory over Donald Trump, this video explores the legacy of Black women's contributions to freedom and democracy, highlighting the women of my illustrious sorority, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. At Howard University, one of the oldest historically Black colleges, between 1908 and 1911, only 25 women earned their Bachelor of Arts degrees. Despite being a minority within a minority, Ethel Hedgeman Lyle, a junior at the university, was inspired to start a sorority for Black women. Lyle and a group of her classmates founded Alpha Kappa Alpha at Howard on January 15, 1908. And led by incorporator Nellie M. Quander, the organization was incorporated on January 29, 1913 to ensure the organization's perpetuity. In addition to providing a safe space for Black women at Howard, Ethel Hedgeman Lyle and the other founders made service to all mankind a central tenet of Alpha Kappa Alpha's mission. Since 1908, Alpha Kappa Alpha women have been at the forefront of anti-racist lobbying and activism. Led by another AKA founder and incorporator, Norma Elizabeth Boyd, in 1938, Alpha Kappa Alpha created the National Nonpartisan Council on Public Affairs. The NPC was the first full-time congressional lobby for racial equity and civil rights. In 1948, Alpha Kappa Alpha established the American Council on Human Rights with the help of other historically Black sororities and fraternities, Delta Sigma Theta, Zeta Phi Beta, Sigma Gamma Rho, as well as Alpha Phi Alpha, Phi Beta Sigma, and Kappa Alpha Psi. From 1948 to 1963, the ACHR employed the collective resources of its organizations to make recommendations to the U.S. government concerning civil rights legislation, including anti-lynching laws to protect Black lives from state-sanctioned racial violence. And in 1946, Alpha Kappa Alpha was the first sorority to attain observer status at the United Nations. Credited as the grandmother of the civil rights movement, Alpha Kappa Alpha member and civil rights activist Septima Clark is known for establishing citizenship schools for teaching poor Black citizens political empowerment through literacy. Teaching Black people how to read helped countless Black Southerners push for the right to vote. But beyond that, it also developed leaders across the country. Early participants in these workshops include civil rights leaders Ella Baker and Rosa Parks. Alpha Kappa Alpha member and lifelong activist Rosa Parks is credited with sparking the modern civil rights movement through her role in triggering the Montgomery bus boycott. Parks was an active member of the NAACP for 12 years before that fateful day on December 1st, 1955.
And of course I was not in the front of the bus as many people have ridden and spoken that I was, that I got on the bus and took a front seat, but I did not. Some white people boarded the bus and left one man standing, and when the driver noticed him standing, he told us to stand up. And 3 people, after some hesitancy, stood up. He wanted to know if I was going to stand. I told him I was not, and he told me he would have me arrested. And I told him he may do that.
In 1946, fellow Columbia Law School alum and AKA Constance Baker Motley became the first woman to work for the NAACP Legal Defense Fund as an attorney. She served as a lead trial attorney in a number of early significant civil rights cases, including representing Martin Luther King Jr., the Freedom Riders, and the Birmingham Children Marchers. And she was the first Black woman to ever argue a case before the U.S. Supreme Court in Meredith versus Fair, where she won James Meredith's effort to become the first black student to attend the University of Mississippi in 1962. Motley was successful in 9 of the 10 cases she argued before the Supreme Court. The 10th decision regarding jury composition was eventually overturned in her favor. Drop some pink and green hearts in the comments if you're an AKA, and remember to like this video if you haven't already. Beyond her work with the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, Motley continued her civil rights legacy as an elected official, becoming the first black woman to be elected to the New York State Senate in 1964, where she devoted much of her time advocating for housing equality for black and Latinx low-income tenants. In 1965, she became the first black woman to serve as borough president of Manhattan. And in 1966, Constance Baker Motley was confirmed as the first black woman federal judge serving the United States District Court for the Southern District of New York. Citing Constance Baker Motley as one of her inspirations, Alpha Kappa Alpha member Kamala Harris stands on a legacy of giants, going from being the first black woman California Attorney General to the first black woman California Senator, to becoming the first black woman Vice President of the United States. Her political track record boasts a history of fighting for marriage equality, helping families avoid foreclosure, and supporting affordable health care.
In our America, nobody should have to work more than one job to put food on the table and have a roof over their head. The reality of it is that we don't have to debate the point, which is that on average, women make 80 cents on the dollar to men. If you're talking about African-American women, it's 61 cents. If it's Latinas, it's 53 cents. Let's get beyond that because it's not a debatable point. The question becomes, what are we going to do about it? You know, there was a little girl in California who was part of the second class to integrate her public schools, and she was bused to school every day. And that little girl was me.
Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated played a role in developing Harris's leadership. Today, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority is an international organization made up of over 300,000 college-educated women, which prides itself on shaping leaders like Ethel Hedgeman Lyle, Norma Elizabeth Boyd, Nellie Quander, Septima Clark, Rosa Parks, Constance Baker Motley, and Vice President Kamala Harris. If you like this video or found it at all helpful, please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more related content. I've been your host, Brandy Blocker Anderson. Thank you so much for watching.